Hi, I'm Ashley. This is Life Beyond Locks, and today I am here with such a cool piece. If you've been with me for a little while, you know that I have curly bio hair. I talk about it all the time, but I don't really get to showcase it because I don't have any pieces that really get to show off my bio hair. So curly wigs and curly toppers have been hard to find, especially with the right texture for me. And then Emma Hair Piece came along and they shared with me a picture of this piece. They told me they were getting it in a new length, and I was so excited to try it. And okay, so I have to tell you right off the bat um, that I washed it right away. So I have a little video that I'm just going to insert here for you to see what it looked like out of the box. Okay, so that was it out of the box, but now you can see what it looks like after washing. And it was really, really important to me that in doing this review, I washed it right away. I mean, if you've been watching wig reviews for a while, you know that after washing, often the texture changes, the color might change, like you need to know what you're really getting. And unfortunately, once you wash a piece, it's not returnable anymore. So that's where wig reviews come in. And so it's really nice when we get a chance to wash them and see how they perform. But I was especially nervous about washing this one because it is curly. And when I got the piece, the curls were so beautifully intact. I was like floored. And if you saw, I had an earlier video, like it was a really quick first look at it where I talked about the fact that I ran downstairs. My dad was visiting for Christmas, first Christmas since my mom passed away. And I was like, Dad, look at this. And it immediately reminded him of my mom's hair. But now that I've washed it, I was worried that I would lose the curl. Instead, I like it even more. The curl pattern it's separated a bit and it looks, I would argue, even more natural. It's crazy. Like, I want to take a picture. I'm going to do that after filming and send it to my dad because this reminds me, yes, of my bio hair, but even more so of my mom's. I didn't ever really have my hair quite this long in my adult years because it would just break and it was thin. But my mom, who had thin hair as well, but slightly thicker than me, often kept her hair at about this length, and she did tend to go with warmer colors. So I do have a video on how to wash curly wigs, and I will share that as well because I think it's important if you're on the fence about this. If you already are a curly girl, then you know how to take care of and manage curly hair. But if you're new, it's really quite easy, but it is a different technique in terms of like you don't want to be brushing it and things like that because you'll potentially ruin the curl and cause more frizz. So I did take a video of washing it when I first got it, and I used a shampoo that's especially for curly hair. You don't need to do that. It is a drugstore shampoo, so it's not expensive, but I took a couple of different steps than I would with my normal slightly wavy pieces that I typically sent or purchased in the past. So yeah, it's a little bit different, but anyways, so minimal care though, which I think is the best part. I was planning to do all of this in the video about washing, but I think I'll just show you now so that if you are someone who is on the fence, you have straight hair or wavy hair and you want to go for like a really crazy curl, I'm going to show you how easy it is to maintain curly hair though. So once it's washed and dried, and I just flipped it over the banister, like I had it on a towel over the banister. That's all I did. I let it dry just over a banister. My husband walked by this morning and he went, "Oh my gosh, those curls are amazing." And they really, really are. So here's the trick that curly haired girls know. And I don't know if you've ever seen someone doing this, but we tend to, like, yes, you can get a spray bottle and you can spray the hair. And that's what you're going to want to do when the hair starts to get frizzy, because as you're outside, the wind blows, as you're just going about your day, the curls will sort of separate and become a little bit more frizzy. And I didn't put any curl cream in this. I couldn't find my curl cream. So I just put a little bit of leave-in conditioner and I didn't really do anything else to her. So as the curls start to kind of become a little bit separated and frizzier, you could use a spray bottle of water, but the reality is just anytime you wash your hands, this is something that curly haired girls probably do all the time. I know I did. Instead of going for a towel to dry your hands, right? You just run it through your hair. That's it. And when you do that, it revives the curl. It allows it to kind of clump a bit to have those more defined curls. It will take away the frizz. It really just brings the curl back to life. So you can use a spray bottle, but really just a little water on your hands and you're good to go. That's all you have to do. No flat irons, no curling irons, nothing. You just wash it, air dry it, and this is the finished look. I mean, how cool is that, right? Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty details about this wig. So this style is TB12. The color is T4P427, and I have it in the 16-inch length, which I'm going to say, when they say 16 inches, I should have my measuring tape. I feel like their 16 inches is without pulling the curl straight, which is because this is really long on me. So I'm betting that they just measure including the curl, which I don't think is typical when we measure curly hair. I think a lot of times the curls are pulled straight. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think the curls are pulled straight when given measurements. So it's pretty cool that you do have this much length with the curls in there. It is a right side part on this one, and I believe, I might be wrong, I believe that you can choose between a right side part, a left side part, or a center part, like a T part. I highly, highly, highly recommend going with the right part. And here's why. This is a budget piece, right? And because it is a budget piece, there's going to be, and that's why you have to pick your part. So there's lace. I'll show you the inside of the cap. There's lace at the front, and there's lace right here where I've parted it. Nowhere else can you part this. It's wefting all the way up. So that's how it becomes more budget friendly. Wefts are long strips of hair that are sewn in by machine. And so to keep the cost low, we just do the lace part right here because lace is sewn by hand. So it's more labor intensive, therefore upping the cost, right? So the reason I recommend this side part though is because as it is a budget piece, and by the way, this is currently on sale for just over $400. I mean, holy cow. But if I get really close, you're going to see here some knots. So these knots are not bleached, and typically, and they're pretty aggressive. So typically I would be like, stay away from it maybe. But in this case, because I've got the right side part and because I have the curls, I don't think the knots are a big deal. I mean, yes, can you see them? Absolutely. But when you have hair like this, speaking from experience, when I used to leave my bio hair like this, people are not focusing on your hairline. So even though my hair is pretty darn thin, whenever I left it curly, people were always like, wow, you have so much volume to your hair when you leave it curly. Wow, look at that curl pattern. People are so focused on the curls because you don't see this every day when you walk down the street, that their focus is going to be on this beautiful wave, not on your front hairline. So there's that. I don't think it's a huge deal. Is it ideal? No. But for $400, I mean, you got to take the good with the bad, right? It is a budget wig. The second reason that I don't think that the knots are a big deal, so besides the fact that people are going to be focusing on all of this and not on this, is because with the right side part or the left side part, your hair is going to be flopping over that front hairline where you would see, imperfections and you would see aggressive knots. But with it on a right side part, my hair is flopping over. You can't see that, right? So the only area that you can really see those knots is right in here. And again, the chances of somebody looking and zoning in right on this part of your head are a lot slimmer. So you have to take the good with the bad. You have to decide what's right for you. If you want to spend a ton of money on a luxury piece, then it's going to have all the bells and whistles and the bleach knots and all of that. If you want something that's good enough, then maybe you want to consider this piece. It's certainly fun. It has an awesome curl pattern and it took a wash really, really well. When I washed it, I did see some color loss in the sink, but that's like pretty typical with every wig. Even higher end wigs that I've owned turn the water a different color. It's kind of like when you go to the hairdressers and you get your hair dyed. If you are a brunette, you know what I'm talking about. Your first couple of washes, right? You see the water turn colors. So, but like it took a wash really, really well. The color stayed really vibrant. So on the whole, I think that this is really good. The hair quality feels good. Like it it feels like my bio hair when it's curly. It it really feels like my hair when my hair is curly. And but as someone who has hair loss, you just want to feel normal again, right? You want to feel like yourself. And even though I spent most of my years straightening my hair, which I'm sure has contributed to my hair loss because I thought curly hair wasn't beautiful, there was a while in my 20s, just before, like as it was starting to thin, that I was embracing the curl and I was wearing it curlier more often. And this makes me feel like that, but like better because I never had this much. So it's pretty cool. Okay, let's talk about the color and we're going to take a look at the inside of the cap. So the color I said is T4P427, and that means that it's basically like overall a level 4. And then it has the highlighting throughout. I would say that these lighter pieces are the 27. I do find the highlights a little bit aggressive, if I'm being honest, but I have mixed feelings about it. I don't love the aggressive highlights personally, but I also know that when I had curly bio hair that I wore out, I often got highlights because one, it made my hair look fuller, but two, it really helped to enhance the curl pattern. Does that make sense? Like you, when it's all one color and uniform, you don't really get to see those waves. But when you add highlights to a curl, it just helps it to really show off those waves. So I have mixed feelings about it. Part of my reluctance to really embrace the color is because I'm so ashy in my bio hair. I don't lean warm at all. Like I am as ashy as it comes. And so for me, it's just not totally, it's just not totally in line with what I would typically see myself in terms of the hair color. It's a little bit warm for me. And I always tend to feel that anything that's not ashy looks orangey on me. But again, you guys, you can decide for yourselves whether it's going to work for you. I don't think the majority of people, I know the majority of people don't have the ashy colors that I have. And so it's probably going to be fine for most of you. Certainly I'm still going to wear it. It's not going to hold me back. I think pinning it back like this would be so pretty too. I need a hair clip. Look at that. That's a really nice way to wear it. And then you still have the coverage in the front here, but it's out of your face. I feel like this is perfect for summer. I'm going to be maybe going to a beach soon. It's winter here, but if I can make an escape, I feel like this is the perfect thing to wear at a beach, by the pool, just because it's that effortless beach hair, right? And also the humidity will really help to enhance those curls. You'll see if you do not have curly hair naturally and you decide to go for something fun like this, it's really fun to see a hot, humid day and what happens to your hair. You have to keep the poof at bay, but it's going to be super duper curly. So I feel like I would love to take this with me to the beach and just feel like my old self. Okay, stop talking. Let's look at the inside because you want to see it. You don't want to hear me talk about my life story and cry on camera. Okay, so this is the lace I'm talking about. So we have the lace goes temple to temple, or really like ear tab to ear tab actually. So it goes all the way across the front, which is great for blending if you do have bio hair. So you can pull, if you have curly bio hair, you could pull your curly bio hair out and let it kind of work through, and that would also help to conceal the knots. And you can see here the right side part. So that whole part line right there, that part is hand sewn, and that's where the labor becomes more intensive, and that's why they've just left it on the one part. And what I like is that they curved it. So it's not do you notice that? See how it's curved? So it curves into the middle, which I think is going to make it look even more natural, because if it's one straight slick part, that becomes more obvious that it's a wig. But because they've curved it, it's almost like that's how your natural hair would go anyways. It would be kind of all over, especially if it's curly. So that's a really cool feature. I don't know if I've ever noticed that before on a wig. We have combs at the sides for the ear tabs. You have back adjusters. And then you also have something else that I've never seen. This is new to me. I've seen it, but I've never owned a wig like this, where you have this back strap, and that helps to provide extra security as well. It is glueless though. You don't need to worry about glue or adhesives, so long as you get the right fit for your head shape. So there it is, totally beautiful. Let me know if you have curly bio hair. I love hearing from my curly girls because we struggle the same way in terms of finding pieces that match our bio hair. And if you don't have curly hair, tell me, would you take a chance and try curly hair? Is that something that you would play with because you can with wigs? Let me know. And if you have any questions about this piece, don't hesitate to reach out, leave a comment, send me a DM. I will do my best to answer them. If I don't have answers, I'll try to get you answers. But yeah, thank you to Emma Hairpiece for sending this over, for making me so emotional because it's a good emotion. So thank you to Emma Hairpiece for sending this over, for letting me play with it and really give it a good, a good review with a wash test and all of that. Again, right now, just over $400. I do have a link below, so you can use that link if you want to take a look at her on their website. And yeah, thanks for being here. We'll see you for the next review.